it held this grittiness to it and almost a menacing quality with this isolation of the land that the soundscape captured very brilliantly. There was this masterful creation of mood with all of the elements of sound and visuals and story meeting towards the same goal. And it is a story that seems to stick with me even now after watching it. There's felt like something classic about it and almost biblical in nature, um, like the stories of the past, like Brothers Grimm, where there is that menace to them, and there is something quite fearful, so that you don't forget the message.
I did like the pace of how the animation went. It was sort of quick, which I think went with especially introducing the lamb in the beginning, the lamb running and sort of kind of being on their way. So that sort of pace helped with the animation. It sort of reminded me of like the old animation where you would have to scroll through papers in order for the animation to run. So that is kind of what it reminded me of. And I did enjoy the quote at the end that sort of tied the whole thing together because it was different to the beginning of the opening scene, which we thought the lamb was going to be eaten, but they weren't. So that was a nice twist towards the end.
I really like the art style of the lamb, that like black and white, hand drawn, kind of like arced, kind of like German expressionism, I guess is the word, where it's like the hard angles and sharp lines, black and white, hand drawn. That's like almost gothic. I really like that aesthetic. And then also, I really wanted to shout out the sound design of the lamb, because I think this is like this is the type of film where it's like rides on the sound design, and I think the sound design delivers for sure.
I thought it was great. This is a survival story. It's very exciting, very visceral, very adrenaline fueled. It tells a story in really unique and clever ways. The use of red is very suggestive. I thought the score was fantastic. It just fits the piece perfectly. I loved the classic animation techniques that were employed in this movie. The hand drawings, the layers, the processed backgrounds. This is a story of nature and of the survival of the fittest. But I thought it was really interesting how the film depicts the wolf as a bad guy, as a murderer, and the lamb is portrayed as a victim. Just really interesting artistic and creative choices.
I thought the hand-drawn sketch animation was super unique. I loved how it was primarily black and white with just some, pops of color, like, the blood in the lamb's eyes. I thought, it did obviously, with just being primarily black and white and pops of color, I thought the contrast was really great. Just kind of created this, haunting atmosphere, especially with the music, which obviously lended itself, to the haunting atmosphere of the film and the story that we were watching unfold. It just felt so dynamic, just using that style of animation.
Fascinatingly creepy and reassuring, both at the same time. I think the animation style is very vivid and in your face, and it does a great job of using the texture and the drawing style and the colors and the editing of the shots and the speed with which they change to convey this unsettling fear, and almost like the haunting feel that you get when you listen to a ghost story or a cautionary tale. Overall, I think it's really great that it managed to accomplish so much emotion, given the context, and really, really great use of different storytelling elements in that.
I loved the really basic artwork for it, and not that the artwork was basic, but the colors were really basic and how they kind of kept it for the most part black and white, but then they were really intentional about the color that they added. Like the drop of blue or like the highlight of red or of yellow. I thought it was really, really interesting and a really, really good choice because it kind of made those things pop a little bit more, and you pay a little bit more attention. And then just the way that they told the story with the narrating was really well done with how they animated it. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it moved really well. The thing that struck me the most was when they did add color in, it was so intentional and it made it so much more impactful because it was just little bits here and there.